Saitama is a character I love. He's a supremely overpowered character capable of toppling any foe in one blow that struggles with the existential thought of finding any purpose or meaning in his life. He's hollow. The OP protagonist is no stranger to anime. Rather, they seem to be everywhere right now. While some of these shows are just a cash grab hoping you can't find anything better to watch, or you accidentally let your up next go on for too long as you step out of the room to go to the bathroom or something, others provide a presentation consisting of a budget larger than some country's GDP, displaying gorgeous animation and spectacular choreography. But the one thing almost all of them have in common is that these OP characters and stories are, well, skin deep. These characters are always perfectly equipped to handle any situation. They dominate in feats of strength, outsmart their opponents, making it seem like child's play, and they don't have any major flaws or insecurities. The show is practically a compilation of characters gasping at their achievements. The whole main character of the world act comes, well, easy to them. Take a look beneath their surface level and you'll find nothing there. The creator of One Punch Man, One, recognized this trend and decided to place a small twist on the cliche. Saitama is overpowered, perhaps one of the most overpowered characters. But One made it a point to give Saitama flaws and asked the question, what would happen to a superhero that didn't have to struggle anymore? Living life on easy mode is sure to become monotonous and seem eventually pointless. Saitama is far from a perfect hero. He often shows up late, can be a bit lazy, self-centered, is a loner, and hardly takes anything seriously. So why do I love his character so much and think he's an amazing hero? Saitama is one of, if not the most relatable, overpowered character I have ever encountered, besides maybe Mob, who is also written by One. Despite living in a fantastical, larger-than-life world with dangers that threaten the very planet, he's disillusioned and bored because he's grown so strong, to the point where he doesn't feel much of anything anymore. Now, this isn't the type of losing your emotions that emo anime protagonists with dark hair and eyes say as they strike a JoJo pose and destroy their enemies without remorse. No, this is more of a slow losing of oneself as they slip further and further into questioning what meaning anything has. A questioning usually accompanied by depression, which Saitama clearly has. Many of us have experienced this in our own way to varying degrees. Lack of motivation, melancholy, and that feeling of emptiness. It can be self-inflicted, caused by an outside force, or be a way to cope. For Saitama, it's based on his situation. He yearns for a thrilling fight, something that pushes him beyond his limits and gets his heart pumping. Yet he knows that will likely never happen. He tries to get excited to face the next villain, but the story always ends the same. With one punch. Outside of his hero work, he doesn't really have anything. No mentioned family, no friends, it's just him. Even concerning his hero work, any semblance of motivation in Saitama for moving up in the ranks is to stop having to meet weekly quotas for C-Class and to get fans that adore him. So then the question arises once again, why is it I love Saitama? It's because despite his feelings, his various flaws, lack of motivation, and even depression, he still chooses to do what is good, even to his own detriment. Saitama is never in any real danger when he fights like the other heroes, so he isn't necessarily courageous like they are. But that doesn't mean he isn't heroic. He oftentimes sacrifices his well-being for others, and despite obtaining godlike power, he lives a humble and simple life. When Saitama shattered the meteor, he undoubtedly saved everyone in that city, and despite this, he's berated and mocked because of the damage. Remember, Saitama registered as a hero mostly for recognition and fans, yet now he's receiving complaints from the very people he saved. If this is how it's gonna be, why even continue being a hero? Yet he takes this criticism head on, proclaiming boldly that it was he who shattered the meteor, taking their blame despite taking their lives. Even if he does some slight jabs at those blaming him besides the meteorite. He goes so far as to say he does hero work because he wants to and not for admiration. A direct contradiction with his motivation for originally becoming a licensed professional hero. But this contradiction isn't a mistake, it's more of a contrast. Saitama's characterization versus his true character. This contrast was coined by Robert McKee, a legendary screenwriter. In his book, Story, he distinguishes characterization as the sum of all outward traits and observable behaviors such as age, sex, intelligence, manner of speech, dress, build, habits, personality, values, and attitude. These are all aspects that make up a person that can be observed by outside parties if the person in question is observed enough. But McGee argues this is not true character. True character is revealed in the choices a human being makes under pressure. The greater the pressure, the deeper the revelation, the truer the choice to the character's essential nature. So, characterization, while being an authentic part of the person, also acts as a mask to their true character. This dichotomy of characterization versus true character is what makes Saitama so intriguing. Saitama's true character is appealing and heroic, but not necessarily his characterization. His characterization is a bald, bland-looking person that claims he only does heroics as a hobby and for fans. A person that lacks emotional connections, isn't very intelligent, and doesn't stand out in any way unless you manage to see his overwhelming strength. If Saitama truly was just an overpowered character that was depressed because he couldn't find a good fight and just won fans, it would be a good gag. But that's about it. Its depth would end there, and there wouldn't be much to discuss about his character. But it's because his true character exists and reveals itself in subtle ways with contradictions against things that he said previously that he is immensely entertaining and inspiring. So with the meteorite situation, he chose to stay a hero despite everyone yelling at him to quit. He became labeled a cheater, fraud, and gained haters rather than the fans that he so desired. So once again, why stay a hero? Let's take a look at the Deep Sea King arc. In this arc, the heroics of characters are on full display as they step up to stop a demon-level threat. One by one, the heroes fall, the situation becoming increasingly dire. Genos is stripped down to his skeleton, sacrificing himself to save a little girl. C-Class Moomin Rider knows he doesn't stand a chance but fights despite that. Same with other heroes. And when Saitama finally does show up, he one-shots it like he normally does. But it's what happens after that shows his true character. The perfect opportunity to gain fans, status, and admiration has presented itself to Saitama. He defeated a monster that overcame 2 S-Class heroes and various others, saved numerous civilians and the heroes, and put a stop to an invasion all with one punch. This was his golden ticket, and all he had to do was take the credit he rightly deserved. But then the efforts and the sacrifices of the other heroes were questioned. These heroes who risked their life and limb to save these civilians were being looked down on because they couldn't overcome the monster. What's the point of a hero who is defeated? Isn't sacrificing yourself meaningless if you don't save everyone? And in that moment, showcasing true heroism, Saitama sacrificed what he wanted. He acted as if these heroes had weakened the monster, making it easy pickings, allowing for him to finish it off and take all the credit. He commanded the civilians to spread his name and not tell anyone else the heroes had helped, which of course only made Saitama look like a jerk and highlighted the gallant spirit of the other heroes who sacrificed everything to weaken the monster and save civilians. Saitama looked like a fraud, and the position of the other heroes was not just saved, but elevated. When in reality, the monster was stronger than it had been all night when Saitama arrived. It wouldn't be an exaggeration to say Saitama gave up S-Class promotion, colossal riches, and undying fame. All things he desired. Saitama's broke, living in a monster-infested part of town because it's the only thing he can afford. He's underappreciated for his hero work because others take credit for his accomplishments. Looking at you, King. And the very hero agency he works for doubts him, which is why he starts in C-Class, and they constantly are on edge about moving him up. Everything he has shown and said that he wants, he gives it up without a second thought. It wasn't some great struggle for Saitama, and we never see him regretting his decision. Saitama committed character assassination on himself, securing the position as one of the most hated heroes that stands on the backs of others' accomplishments, all to protect others' reputation and dignity. Saitama's true character has a deep understanding of heroics, sacrifice, and what is right. And despite what his characterization says his motivation is or why he does hero work, his true character always chooses what is right. Saitama genuinely cares about people. despite him often acting in a way that pushes people away and saying he doesn't have emotions. He doesn't just save people from physical danger, but in a way, saves their hearts, giving people hope even when he feels like he lacks it. There are multiple other examples throughout the show and even in the manga. For Boros, he comforted him as he was dying, complimenting his strength and even agreeing the battle was hard fought so he could pass peacefully, despite being his enemy. And even when Saitama had strength to spare. In a bonus chapter, we see Saitama save a man from taking his own life, and he didn't approach the situation as a hero prepared with some grandiose speech, but just listened to the other guy as a human and helped him out where he could, giving the man courage to face another day, and even offering to hear him out again if he needed it. Saitama even sacrificed his precious salmon to save the guy. And my favorite example is when he stopped Garo before the redraws. The fight didn't end with some insane climax with planet-shattering powers, but both characters sitting down at a coffee table to talk. Saitama went out of his way to understand and meet Garo where he was at, especially since the kid asked him to not hurt Garo. He assures the kid while also saving the quote-unquote villain, because that's what heroes do. And I am so sad this got replaced with the mega shonen fight we got. Like, the fight was cool, man, but man, do I prefer the original publication. It does such a better job of displaying his true character as an incredible hero that cares deeply for people's well-being. Saitama is one of my favorite protagonists of all time. He's so endearing because despite how he feels, he continues to do what is right and gives hope to people around him. In a world that is filled with glory-chasing heroes, he acts as an adult, making sure the vulnerable are protected and going out of his way not just to be a great hero, but a great person as well, comforting, encouraging, listening, learning, and doing his best. He meets people where they're at, and while he's not perfect, in my eyes, among heroes, he's one of the greats. Sorry this video took so long to get off the ground. I took a new job, things are a little bit crazy in life, and yeah, so this channel kind of fell to the back end of things that I need to do. I'll continue uploading, but the schedule is going to be a little bit slow, but I appreciate all you guys for hanging around. I did nothing for the past month and my channel has exploded, so you guys are awesome.